Shame is a very, very fun emotion to play with. Shame is an emotion that we get lodged deep inside of our bodies, and shame is usually accompanied with feelings of unworthiness. When we were children, there was more than likely a very difficult experience that we went through, some sort of trauma. It could have been a physical or sexual abuse. It could have been enmeshment. It could have been neglect. Something that happened when we were children that caused us to think that in some way we must be bad or wrong or unworthy, ultimately unworthy of love. And in this assumption, we have then constricted the flow of love into our lives. Now, with shame, what typically happens is that we either go one way or the other when it comes to our self-perception. So with shame, we either go to the complete trenches, meaning that we view ourselves as worthless, as completely unable to do anything, or we go the perfectionist route and we say that we are above, we are better than, we have this assumption that in some way we are entitled to certain things in life. And this is all rooted with shame, and we can actually oscillate and bounce back and forth between the two. And if you feel that you've sort of had your entire life this underlying feeling of loneliness or incompleteness, or there's been something inside of you that just kind of been lingering, this weird anxiety, well, that is most likely repressed shame that has been lodged deep inside of you due to very traumatic events that you experienced as a child. Now, these traumatic events don't have to be as serious as something as sexual abuse, right? They could be as simple as something as a mother turning her gaze away from a child when he was crying out, when he was hungry, right? And that neglect was so overwhelming in that moment that the brain couldn't do anything other than shut off and repress this emotion because of the intensity of that emotion. Now, this can happen to anyone, and to think that you got through childhood unscathed is a little bit of it's a fallacy. A lot of people assume that they came from good families. They don't have a lot of shame or trauma just because they didn't have a traumatic experience, but it really can happen to anyone. And just because you had a quote unquote good family doesn't mean that you didn't escape without trauma or shame in some form. This was my experience. I thought I came from a great family, and it turns out that everyone kind of comes out of childhood a little bit unscathed, and there are traumas that we carry deep inside of us. And I actually recently just uncovered a repressed sexual abuse memory from an art teacher I had when I was 4 years old, and this is something that I carried with me my whole life that I didn't even realize I had, right? Because our brains do such a good job of repressing these deep emotions inside of us so that we don't have to feel them on a daily basis, even though they are constantly lingering. Now, the way to start healing shame is to reveal it. Shame is an emotion of hiding, which means that in order to start healing the shame, we must reveal it in safe contexts. Now, this doesn't mean to go out and start telling your boss and your coworkers and everyone and their aunt and uncle about what's happened to you. It means that finding a safe group of individuals, it could be a therapist, it could be a trusted romantic partner, it could be a men's group or a woman's group. And that is so important because they need to be able to hold the space for you. Otherwise, they could do more damage if they aren't able to hold the space. If you reveal your shame in an unsafe context, you're just going to perpetuate the shame. So it's really important that you find healthy individuals who are able to talk to about this, and eventually start revealing the shame and recognize, oh my goodness, these parts of myself that I thought were unlovable are now actually lovable. And that is the beauty of healing shame. And it's through this experience that we get to enjoy healing from it and reconnecting to love. My name is Christopher Linkenbach. If you need help with any of this, I am a relationship and masculinity coach here in Austin, Texas, and I help men to reconnect to their masculinity and find healthy and loving relationships. If you'd like help in any of this, feel free to go down to the link below and schedule a coaching call. You can also go to my website, becomingagentleman.love, and you can donate there as well if you felt like you gained any value from this video. And if you would please like and subscribe to help this channel grow, it would mean the world to me. I will catch you all in the next one, all right? Peace!